In today's result-driven society, how much does your title really matter? Our next guest believes leadership is not about the position you hold, but how well you lead. In his book, Leadership by Choice, Papp offers a new roadmap for becoming a leader people actually want to follow. Eric is a professional leadership trainer who has worked in both corporate and private clients across the country and joins us now on Connecticut Style. Nice to have you here.
Hey, thanks, Teresa. It's great to be here.
First, I think we should talk about the qualities of a good leader.
Yes, and while the qualities haven't changed, our society's perspective has changed. But the qualities are still there. Listening, integrity, accountability, and then taking action.
And leadership really can be applied to every aspect of our life.
Absolutely, personally and professionally.
And you say one of the keys to leadership is listening, and you actually get a better sort of interaction if you like the person, would you say?
Right. Well, you know, and listening from the standpoint, if you're a manager, director, is most people leave a position because they'll say, my boss didn't listen to me. And so that's one of the big components of that.
All right. And a big part of the book, you talk about accountability and how people really like to point fingers and never take action themselves. Why is that happening?
Well, you know, Teresa, that's like the society that we live in today. When you watch TV, when it goes to a commercial, you hear something like, have your feelings been hurt today at work? Have you been asked to work an 8-hour day? If so, call the law offices of 1-800-JOE No Responsibility.
Sure.
We've gone the opposite direction, and we see it showing up in organizations where the good employees get punished and the bad employees get rewarded. The good employees, they get more work, they get more responsibility because the work has to get done, and the bad employees, they get less work and they get more time to do it in.
So why are people not taking the accountability?
Well,
it's just an easier way out?
It's not even there. It's not really, people are not really even being held accountable. And then we've even seen that, you know, in our school systems with the way kids are being raised. You know, they'll have something that takes place in the classroom, maybe a disciplinary, you know, and they come home, they complain to their parents comes in, talks to the teacher and says, hey, you know, I wonder, you know, you yelled at my kid, you know, the other day, how come, what would you do that for? You know, mine's the perfect sign.
Maybe
so
your kid deserved it, right?
Exactly, your kid deserved it. And so there's not that element of accountability.
I see. So you say a couple of ways you can succeed is really do hold yourself accountable. And you have an acronym, you go by LAP. Let's break this down a little bit for our viewers. Some key points here. Learn how to say no.
Right, learning how to say no, because we put so much on our plate. Over 2/3 of the population has a hard time saying no. And so when you're constantly putting so much on your plate and you're not fulfilling on your word, then you're not seen as a person of your word, and you just keep getting more and more, and so you're not able to hold yourself accountable. So learn how to say no and really get a clear idea of what your priorities are. So that's one of the first components.
Don't take on too much that you can't handle, right?
Exactly.
All right, take action before you speak.
Yeah, taking action before you speak, because this way you'll start the progress, you'll start the momentum, and then you'll start to see that element of accountability. Then it'll just be like second nature when you take action first before you speak.
Thinking might even help also before you speak, right?
Yes, yeah,
It probably makes
well,
a big difference. Have an accountability partner. Now, what do you mean by this?
Just like when you're going to the gym or going to do a walk around the neighborhood, when you have somebody that's going to hold you accountable, that can knock on your door and say, hey, Teresa, we're going to go to the gym today. You know, so when you have somebody there that's going to hold you accountable, you're more likely to actually do it. So you can have accountability and a partner for not only for the gym, but in all other areas of your life as well.
All right, and then you say it's important to chart your progress.
Yes, chart your progress to see, you know, are you progressing towards your goal, or are you going backwards? And this is a great way too to see, okay, what is it, you know, what's working and then what's not working. So by charting your progress.
And you say, like, get a journal, keep track of it daily?
Whatever's easiest for you. You know, having a journal, having a piece of paper just right there, or even put it on your smartphone.
Oh, sure.
However that you would like to do it. But charting your progress, because also when you see your progress, when you see that you're making gains towards your goal, it gives you confidence, and then you move actually with more velocity towards that.
Okay, and you say aim for consistency rather than perfection.
Absolutely, progress, not perfection.
Okay.
In our society today, we get so caught up in just, I've got to do it perfectly, I've got to do it perfectly. When you don't have to do it perfectly, just make the progress. And that's a big element, is, you know, just having that, you know, consistency, just showing up, being there, doing it, going to the gym, you know, or writing the book, whatever it is that you're working on, and taking those consistent actions, and then worry about, you know, when you're 80% ready, move, take action, get it done. You know,
Little
you're never
baby
gonna be 100%.
steps along the way, right?
Absolutely.
I guess it's easier.
Yes.
All right, also in the book you mentioned healthy versus unhealthy conflict. What do you mean by that?
There's two types of conflicts in organizations
conflict always
and
bad
households.
or not really?
No, conflict is not always bad. That's the thing, that there's the misnomer of that is people think that conflict is a bad thing, but whether it's talking about in families or in corporations, healthy and unhealthy conflict. The healthy conflict is when people are debating, discussing, different viewpoints and such. Unhealthy conflict is when it's just very silent. Nobody says anything, and then what happens is outside of the meeting, we say, "Yeah, Teresa, can you believe what Ralph said? Yeah, that's never going to work." And we see the gossiping take place.
And then it says to have a motivating environment and probably surround yourself with motivating people.
Right. Not only as motivated people, but then also to do the elements, to build when you have a high trust, high communication environment. That's when you have that motivating environment. People want to actually come to work.
Makes sense. Eric, great tips here. The name of the book again is Leadership by Choice. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, my pleasure.
And where can we find the book?
You can find the book at all major retailers on Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble, and also it's on Apple.
Pretty much everywhere.
Yes.
All right, sounds good. Thanks so much. And coming up next, Neil Fuentes and Billy DeCrosto join me in the kitchen. But first, take a look at this.